Good morning, folks, and welcome to another edition of City Hall Live. We are back. We were on a little break, but we are back, and we are back big. Our guest today is Dr. Veronica Garcia, the Superintendent of Santa Fe Public Schools. Welcome.
Well, thank you for having me, and where have you been?
I had to take my son to college, so we took him out there, and we're back now, and he's off and away, so it's all good.
Oh, yes, I bet you're proud.
Oh, I am, yes. It's our first one, so we're really excited about it. But thanks for asking.
You bet.
I know that we're going to talk about other stuff, but I know a couple of things, big things that are coming up now for the public schools are the bash that's going to be happening in a couple of weeks, September 23rd. Second time you've done the bash.
Yes.
First time you did the bash, it was awesome. Tell us a little bit about the bash.
Well, believe it or not, it's going to be even more awesome.
Okay.
So the bash, September 23rd, 11 to 3 o'clock at Franklin Miles Park, and it is a fabulous community and family event. All of our schools will have booths. We have many community partners. There's just, face painting, play checkers, chess. I mean, there are so many exciting family events, a photo booth, but it's an opportunity for us as a community to come together and celebrate the Santa Fe Public Schools and the community that makes it all work, because the schools can't do it by themselves.
Yeah.
And I mean, the city of Santa Fe, Parks and Rec have been amazing, but the list is long. I could go through it, but if I did, it would take half the program.
Yeah, but it's a very, very carnival type of atmosphere.
It's like a fair. It's like a big fair. Hot dogs. I think.
I was going to ask you about that. Are we having hot dogs this year?
There'll be food. Yeah, we had them
great.
last year. I think they've purchased 2,000 hot dogs that will be grilling live. I'll always have a burnt one, which I know I'm not supposed to do, but if I'm going to eat a hot dog, it's going to be burnt.
It has to be burnt.
Yeah, for me anyway.
Yeah.
We'll have chips and drinks, and it's just going to be so exciting. Some new elements this year. There's going to be a best booth contest.
Oh, okay.
And so the schools will be competing with each other, but they do all kinds of demonstrations and displays, from science experiments to hands-on activities for the kids. It's a wonderful event, whether you have toddlers to teenagers. We will have a volleyball tournament. The fire department will be there. There's a place in the program where they actually, shoot off the water, and the kids run around.
Oh, that's cool.
And get wet, and they totally enjoy that. A photo contest using hashtag and social media. So, I mean, there's just going to be a lot going on.
Dunk tank?
I think the dunk tank will be back this year.
I know Santa Fe High Principal Carl Morano was one of the main targeted dunkies last year.
Yes,
so that's great.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much going on. I can't remember the name of the group that comes out on the stilts.
Yes,
Yeah.
Wiseful.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, there is so much visually. You just, no matter where you look, there is something intriguing, inviting, exciting, something for someone of all ages. A lot of community partnership booths. As a matter of fact, we've run out of space in terms of the displays, because last year was our first year, and after people saw what was going on, they wanted to be a part of it. And bring grandma, grandpa, your neighbors, children of all ages. I'll be playing chess again with some of the kids.
You played last year with?
I played last year.
How'd you do?
Well, I did well.
Oh, okay.
But I was playing kindergarten.
Oh, okay. All right.
No, but I had a good time.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great way of the folks that are working, 8 to 5, that may not have an opportunity during the week to get to know the superintendent, or attend a school board meeting, or get to know their school principal or their school board members.
Oh yeah, the school board members will be there.
They'll be there, and it's great family fun. It's not like it's a very informal atmosphere where you can go and have a good time and say, hey, look, there's Dr. Garcia. I wonder if I can go talk to her. And you'll say, sure, come and talk to me.
Absolutely.
But it really is. It puts it in a very, very comfortable environment.
It's free.
And it's free.
It's
Everything's free.
So
Even the hot dogs.
It's a wonderful time to have great fun with your family. and it's absolutely free, and entertainment. We have a stage, and our various schools, from the Acequia Madre Choir to the Cesar Chavez Elementary, they'll be performing Lean on Me,
Yep.
Nino Otero Community School Choir, the Ascan Baile Folklorico, the Salazar Elementary Clap It Out syllable song, they're going to do that. It's just going to be fun. So families will be able to see their children perform.
Yes.
And so we're super, super excited. The Capitol High School band and cheerleading squad will be there. It's just going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be, it's great. And it's a great
And informative.
Yes, it is informative. And it's also a good way of letting, and you speak of information, of letting the families out there of the children that attend the public schools, what's going on, what can be available to them, and that, hey, we want you, if you can come and come to us if you need anything. We're here. We're in this together.
That's right.
We're doing it as a team. And I'm using that as a nice little segue.
Okay.
Yes, because of your article in the paper on Sunday. And we're going to get to the other event, but I think this is a great segue because I think this plays a big part of that too as well, that, there's this bash. And yes, it's a lot of fun and everything, but I think it also is a nice invitation for the parents that normally wouldn't be involved or don't feel like maybe their opinion might be needed or whatnot, that say, hey, no, we want that here at Santa Fe Public Schools,
Absolutely.
right?
Yes, because, we want to put the public back in public schools.
Yes.
It's their school system, and we own it together. And, like the schools, we can't do it alone. And we are so blessed. To be superintendent in this school district, I think I am the luckiest person ever, because we have such a fabulous community that wants to help the schools.
Yes.
And I mean, how lucky, can I be, to have all of this support of people wanting to work with us and support us in so many different ways that'll be evident at this event.
Yeah, no, exactly. And let's talk about that. I mean, you talked on Sunday, your article, you were talking about that you're not in this alone, that you want families to be involved. You want to give your teachers the best tools and the best data out there to help them, support them more. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so it was an opinion piece,
Yes.
an op-ed, and the title of it was Leading with the Head and the Heart. And what that's about is what our approach to school improvement is in the Santa Fe Public Schools.
Okay.
And we're working to shift the culture, and you don't do that overnight, but I think we've made gains in that way. And that is, first of all, bringing back the love of teaching and learning, and the joy of learning, and the focus that all the action doesn't happen at 610 Alta Vista and in the boardroom. It happens in the classroom. And that our teachers often are the least heard, have the least voice, are the unsung heroes, but they're the ones that are making that magic happen. And it is magic. It's that relationship between a student and a teacher, and that sparks that interest in something, lights that fire. And we have to do all we can as a community to support those unsung heroes in the classroom and the people that support them, like our counselors and nurses and librarians and whatnot. I mean, it takes a lot of people to run a school district.
It's not as simple as it was way back when, where there was a principal and there was kids and teachers, and the kids came into class, you taught them that, and that's it, and then we'll see you later at 3 o'clock, right?
Right.
It's a lot more complicated
It's a lot
today.
more complicated in terms of all the requirements. And here's the thing, is that I feel like our teachers have become demoralized. I'm all for accountability, but how it is perceived, how it's being used, whether they perceive it's fair or not, the test, whether it's relevant, all of those things impact them. And so what we've done is not focus on chasing the test score, but we are focusing on sound teaching practices, providing them the tools they need, that we're providing them the support, whether it's in curriculum mapping or to the right professional development that they might need, the materials, whatever we can to help them be successful. But again, it's about making teaching and learning a joy, because it should be. And if people feel that joy and feel relaxed, we're going to get good outcomes, and we got good outcomes this year.
Yeah.
And I am convinced we're going to do even better next year.
That's great to hear. It's funny when you were bringing all that up. Not funny, haha, funny, but like
Funny, interesting.
Interesting, funny. Yes. You know how they say head coaches are players' coaches, right? There's oh, he's a players' coach, or she's a players' coach. Would you consider yourself to be a superintendent of teachers, like that type of thing, or a players' coach as well? Would that be?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope I haven't lost.
That was a bad analogy. I hope that was a good analogy.
I think it was a good analogy.
Yeah,
I get what you mean. Am I a teacher superintendent?
There you go.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to say.
And I hope so. I think I've learned a lot from the first time I was here as superintendent.
Mm-hmm.
And principals are key, and they're leaders.
Mm-hmm.
And many teachers make a decision about staying in a school based on the quality of the principal. So leadership matters,
Mm-hmm.
our principals matter.
Mm-hmm.
But I also feel that teachers are teaching our kids. They're the bulk of the educational system.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, again, I go back to they are kind of the least mentioned. It's sort of like they're an afterthought.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's they're held accountable for the failings of our society.
Mm-hmm.
If parents are unemployed and are stressed or are homeless and their children, can't benefit from the educational program, somehow it's still the teacher's fault.
Mm-hmm.
And it isn't. We all own this problem, but we have to do whatever we can to optimize that learning environment, because all our kids can learn.
Yeah.
Our kids in Santa Fe are just as smart as kids anywhere.
Yeah.
I have no doubt.
Yeah.
As evidenced, your son went off and is doing well, and there's
Yeah.
so many children that have gone off and done well from our school district, but we want more of them.
Yeah. I thought that also, going back to the Santa Fe, the state of the schools last year, that you felt that it was very important to be able to show what was going on in the schools as far as, and you really, you did certain programs and stuff, but you really focused on teachers.
Mm-hmm.
It was very teacher-centric as far as what was going on, and you did, and even administration as well. I mean, you had a bus driver on there that was being it was the support staff.
Well, all of our employees are a part of that.
Yeah.
And we just had a back to school rally.
Yeah.
And we brought in, all of our employees
Mm-hmm.
at the Santa Fe High School gym. That I think you were there, right?
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
And it was a great event.
Mm-hmm.
And but what I wanted to communicate is that whether you're driving the bus or you're processing a purchase order or you're serving food in the cafeteria
Mm-hmm.
or you're in the classroom, we all are supporting that work.
Mm-hmm.
And that we're all part of this education system, but really bring it home that it's about those kids.
Mm-hmm.
And a happy smile on the face of a bus driver. I got to ride the bus and talked quite a bit to a particular bus driver, and he was telling me how he gets to know all the kids' names. They look forward to seeing him.
Mm-hmm.
Some kids, that's the first smile they've seen for the day.
Mm-hmm.
Or that knowing that somebody's happy to see them can just set the whole tone. The cafeteria workers often tell me about their connections to the kids. And
Yeah.
this one cafeteria where I got to serve pizza first day of school. I think I was at Taro. I can't remember exactly where I was, but I think that was a school. And I was serving pizza. And one of the the cafeteria workers, she had dyed her hair purple this year, and and I said, "Oh, look at your hair." And she said, "Yeah, last year it was blue, and this year the kids asked me if I would do it purple, so I did my hair purple for them." And I know it seems like trivial, but it creates a sense of family. It builds a culture of caring, of love, of support, and I think we don't have to be afraid of using that word, love.
Yeah.
That we love our employees and that we love our kids,
Yeah.
and that we want our school district to be a happy place to work and learn.
Yeah. One thing, you bring this up, and one thing I've noticed about you that I've observed in different areas, not just when, at the school district building, but also out in the public schools themselves, physically out there, and in the events that you go to, that you're, and I'm complimenting you.
Oh, thank you.
Is that you're a very, very genuine person, that you're not just, glad handing someone just and looking at them and say, "Oh yeah, great," but you really are genuine when you're talking to somebody. You're listening. you're not thinking of that next thing. Oh, I got to go to this event. You could really tell there's a connection. And I've seen some stuff, and I don't want to embarrass you by bringing up some of the stuff that I've seen and I've known. But it's touched me as a person to see that and to know that you're very genuine, and I think that's awesome, and I think that's what this school district
Well, it's kind
needs.
of you
So
to
I just
say.
want to let you know that I really
I
think
am
that's
blushing.
awesome. No. Hey, but
thank you.
I'm very impressed with that, and I think it's really cool. And if anybody ever has the opportunity to go up and talk to Dr. Garcia, you should, because she's a great person, and she's not intimidating. She will bring you in and she'll talk to you. And
I'm probably intimidated,
Well,
but
no,
I'm
no.
happy to meet them.
yeah. But I'm just saying you're very genuine, and I
Thank
hope
you.
I chose the right words for that. I don't,
Well, thank you.
But yeah, so well, that's great. That is awesome. And I think I was going to get to the next event, but I think I'm going to go to this next
Yeah,
one,
sure.
which was going to be my last question. But I
Okay.
think it's very appropriate now.
All right.
Is that what's your vision of a perfect school district?
Wow, how fun is that to play with that idea?
Yeah.
So
It's kind of my 8th grade question.
Is it your 8th grade
Yeah, I'm
question?
sorry.
Yeah, wouldn't that be great to just what would be a perfect school district,
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it would be perfect if it didn't have problems
Yeah.
to solve, because, I enjoy solving problems.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a school district like ours.
Yeah.
And why would I say that? One, this community has a lot of heart. I mean, really.
Yeah,
It
it does.
really does. Right?
Wears the sleeve on it. Wears their heart on their
Oh
sleeve,
yeah,
right?
and there's a lot of heart here,
Yeah.
and a lot of passion.
Yep.
And people care, and that's why I have found it so fabulous to work here. And hopefully our Albuquerque friends aren't listening, because I'm from Albuquerque.
Yeah.
But I've always said that people have always treated me better here than in my hometown. And maybe you can't be a prophet in your own village, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I have always felt very welcomed here. And the fact that we have a diverse community that celebrates and embraces diversity, and that we're working through our challenges together. I know that we have, and I'll bring it up, that the whole issue around the fiesta. And I know that it raises a lot of emotion and feeling, but I've had meetings with tribal governments, and I've had meetings with representatives from the Fiesta Council, and how do we work through all of this together? And I have no doubt I know the city is working through that, the school district will work through that, but we've had other challenges, and I think we all rise to the occasion that we want all of our children to feel supported, that no one feels diminished, that it's a place that we honor different points of view. And I think, to me, that's pretty perfect. And to have a community that supports us, what would be great, what would make it more perfect, is if we were funded appropriately, and that we had the resources that our kids and that our teachers need and deserve. And what would make it a little more perfect is that we could pay our teachers a living wage, because this is an expensive city, and because of all the world-classiness of our city, it's made it unaffordable for many working class people. And I look at our teacher salaries, that's not right. And so what can we do to better compensate? But I think we're pretty close to being perfect now. In terms of our results, we got a long way to go, and we'll work together towards that. But I couldn't. This is a wonderful place.
That's great. That's awesome. Well, I know we have one more event.
Yeah.
We got to talk about. You have a golf tournament coming up.
Well, there's a golf tournament that the Rotary is putting on behalf of our students, and it's to fund scholarships. There's a lot of shrinkage, with the lottery scholarships. They're more difficult to obtain, less funding.
That's crazy that that's happening, isn't it?
That something?
Yeah.
But it has.
Yeah.
And so they are working to raise money for scholarships for Santa Fe Public Schools graduates. It's September 29th at the Marty Sanchez Golf Tournament. And if they go to our website, www.sfps.info, they'll get there, and there'll be a link to the Rotary Golf Tournament. and it's a 4-person scramble, September the 29th.
Okay, and then all those proceeds goes to the public schools?
For scholarships.
For
So it'll go to
scholarships.
students, yeah.
Oh, that is awesome.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yes. So I was going to ask you, because we were bringing this up,
Sure.
was that, and we were talking about, there was a budget thing, and you guys worked through that, and I thought that was pretty awesome, the way that all worked out really well, that, we didn't have to close Nava, and we didn't have to, E.J. Martinez, right? How's that look? I mean, now that we're in the school, the school season now, or that we're in the school year now, do you not know until later on in the school year and later on in the fiscal year how this is going on, or is it, what would you say? Is it,
Well, I would say
how's it going?
it's complicated. It's complicated.
I know it's complicated. Give me the layman's.
It's
Joe,
complicated.
everything is great. We're fine. We're getting through this.
It's going to be great.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Revenues are looking better.
Yeah.
And it'll depends what happens, during the legislative session.
Yeah.
It'll be fascinating to see what happens now because of the hurricanes.
Yeah.
And what will that mean for gas prices?
that is.
And so higher demand, less supply. That could be a good thing for New Mexico right now in terms of gas and oil prices.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm not an economist.
No, I know, yeah.
But I'm hoping
Yeah.
that we will see higher revenue. With that said, there was a request for a resolution that was passed for the district to look at efficiencies and facilities, and it was a resolution that was brought forth by Secretary Noble.
Okay.
And we will be bringing back a plan for a study at the end of the month. We have some issues, and what happened, with the school closures and the budget is those two issues got conflated, and they kind of needed to be because we were in a little bit of a crisis. But where the population is growing, where you don't have space,
Yeah.
and the population in Santa Fe, they're having less babies, or they're moving out of Santa Fe, and so our lower grades, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, we're seeing less enrollment.
Yeah.
And so we have more seats than we do elementary age kids. And so we have some challenges. We have aging facilities. That issue has not gone away. And so we will come back with the study, and we'll see what happens. So they're two separate issues. One's facilities and planning, and then the other is like, how's the budget looking? And so right now I'm cautiously optimistic about the budget.
Yeah, you're always careful about that. I thought it was great, though, the way that the plan was laid out, how staff and yourself had laid out a couple of options and stuff. That was just done very well.
Thank
and
you.
I thought a lot of people appreciated that, right? Because that boardroom was full during this
Unless
time.
your school's closing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's that's such an and I get it. That is such an emotional issue, to lose a neighborhood school, that you could present the best facts, have the most perfect case for it, but it's like, that's great, but don't close my school.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's funny, it goes back to the community being very passionate.
There you go.
I was posed the question, because I live in Rio Rancho, and the question was asked to me by my sister, and she said, how would you feel if, like Mountain View, where my daughter goes to school, how would you feel if we were going to build a brand new school and they were going to close Mountain View? I said, I'd be fine with it. Just because, that it's just, my daughter would be in a better school system. It would be a brand new school. But I said, it's different here in Santa Fe because it's older and people get attached to things.
Well, there's
traditions,
tradition.
and it's passion and that. And I'm not knocking the folks of Rio Rancho or anything like that, or myself. But
there's hundreds of years of history in
Yeah.
this community,
Yeah.
and I think that's another thing that makes this city so unique.
Yeah.
Is the history and the tie to the land and roots and I was just talking to someone the other day and they said, well, I hope that they're going to preserve some of the historical attributes of Capshaw and de Vargas somehow, that they don't lose what because it means something to them.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we still see, like, when it was their academy at La de Guaite, or people care about these buildings were named after people that were important to them.
Yeah, and you bring up traditions. It was I thought it was a very, I don't know, I know you put a lot of thought into it, but the whole fiesta thing about, having kids that, hey, if you don't want to go,
If
you
it's
don't.
painful.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And that was looking back of respecting not just the traditions of the local traditions, but also the Native American traditions as well, right? I mean, you were looking at both of them saying, hey, listen, this is something that we have to look at, we have to balance it, but if they feel that they don't want to go to those, they don't have to.
You're right.
Yeah.
And we tried to honor that too with the eclipse. And did you know that? I don't know if
No,
you
I
were
didn't
aware
know
of that. Yeah, but for many Native American cultures, and maybe even others outside of Native American, and they're all different. Like Navajo has different than maybe Taos Pueblo, but many have various beliefs and practices around the eclipse.
Yeah.
Some don't eat and drink during that time. Some do not go outside during that time.
Wow, I see.
So we wanted, right, people just aren't aware.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to make sure we got all that information out. So besides being safe about how you
Wearing the
viewed
glasses,
it,
yeah.
was
I
all,
stared at it without any glasses.
You did not.
For a little bit.
Stop
it was
it.
cloudy anyway.
You did not. You must have not gotten our memo.
No, I didn't. But I'm sorry.
And are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
I think you and the president did that.
Yeah, oh.
Was my understanding.
Oh,
but
my God,
anyway,
okay.
I won't go there.
Okay.
But anyway, so we sent out a memo and said, recognize that kids come with different traditions, different cultural beliefs. Please honor those. Don't force kids, give them an alternate assignment. Don't force them to go out and see it. If, or if they do not eat or drink during that time frame, don't force, because it was right around lunchtime, I believe, like 11:30 to 1:30,
Yep.
To recognize that. And again, we're a public school. We educate the public. Let's be sensitive to these differences.
How do you find out about that stuff? I mean, is it brought to your attention, or you get what I'm saying?
Magic 8 Ball.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. I have fabulous staff.
Yeah.
And Nancy Davis is amazing, and she is in contact with all of our tribes, and provides me, that information. Our curriculum specialists also provide us information. We try to provide resources, to them. It's so easy now, I think, to access information. For example, on a balanced view of history, we provided a whole series of articles and documentaries about a balanced approach to history, and being able to see that without diminishing any culture, because I think it depends on your perspective. And there are many contributions that Hispanics made to New Mexico, right? I mean, that should not be overlooked. But there are also Italians who contributed a lot. The Jewish community contributed a lot to the state. African Americans, the cowboy, what were they, buffalo soldiers.
Yeah.
And then even cowboy tradition of what we've learned from each other. And that's what I think makes our state great, are all of these cultures coming together, weaving out what is New Mexico. And I love our state and love this community.
Yeah, we love you.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank
appreciate
you so
it.
much. Yeah.
Awesome.
I'll be back again.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dr. Veronica Garcia, Superintendent of Santa Fe Public Schools. Folks, thank you for joining us today. Have a safe weekend. Have a great weekend. Adios.